Top of the table, playing fabulous football to full houses, but there's no gloating from Arsenal over Jose Mourinho's Chelsea departure. Arsene Wenger calls it brutal, sudden and surprising, though he's been quick to praise Abraham Grant, while reminding fans here of the outstanding moments of Arsenal's season so far. Cesc Fabregas looking to score for the 6th game running. No Kleb or Rosicki for Arsenal, joining Eboué, Gallas and Lehmann injured. Van Persie is rotated to the bench. Diaby, Walcott and Eduardo come in. They're unbeaten in 12 league games. Derby are unchanged from their first win against Newcastle on Monday, although exciting teenager Giles Barnes is fit enough to make the bench for the first time this season. Monday's goal hero Kenny Miller is fit after a slight muscle strain. Oh, that's given away. Poor ball it was too by Mears. Can Arsenal profit here? It's Adebayor, and it was a real chance. The run was by Clichy. Bad error at this level by Mears. Off went Clichy. Adebayor calling for it. May have been offside anyway. The flag stayed down. He's got to be offside in there, hasn't he? Sanya, Fabregas looking left. This is Abu Diaby, tall, rangy. And going for goal! Oh, what an absolute screamer! Abu Diaby, Arsenal 1, Derby County 0. A glorious strike. Found in space, cut inside, worked the yard more of space and thumped it. Kick that out. Corker. Lewis, Howard. Again Pearson available. Oakley. Blocked by Flamini. Eduardo with the chest pass to Adebayor. Fabregas. Adebayor again. And motoring. And he got the cross in as well, and it's come all the way through to Gael Clichy. Diaby again, making room for himself. He very nearly did it again. Bywater stops. Derby was standing far too far off it. And then it's Walcott. Could have been 3. Showing Diaby far too much respect and showing him inside too. That created the space for the shot on goal. And it was Walcott poking it well wide. Tamely so. Fabregas always have a yard and a half in which to play, to manoeuvre and create. And that's better pressure from Pearson. There goes Clichy. A very well break for Theo Walcott, who has the speed but not the strength to go beyond Davis. Jamaican uses upper body strength there, but was it fair? Oakley. Here's Howard. And Derby at the moment enjoying a good spell of possession. Haven't really created anything. But Oakley. Teal. Loses out to Clichy. Fabregas over the top to Eduardo or Adebayor. It's Adebayor. Around Bywater. It's 2. Derby's best spell of the game ends with Arsenal scoring. He is flying at the moment. His 4th goal of the season. Arsenal are unbeaten when he scores, Adebayor. The worry for Derby is that Adebayor through the middle or Eduardo, both of them were free. Adebayor around the goalkeeper. He scored in 17 games previously for Arsenal. They've won 15 of them and drawn 2, and there was never a doubt. Walcott. Fabregas drifting forward, lovely return. Theo Walcott. Oh, and it nearly went through by water. Again, Fabregas linking well. A dose of salt's shot. 2 minutes of added time. Walcott beyond Griffin. It was a clumsy challenge. Eduardo against Claude Davis. Oh, brilliantly done. Pearson covering. Eduardo. The extra touch took the ball slightly too wide, and that's why Pearson could get back at him. Good recovery. Adebayor in there. Sandros towards the near post. Behind him was Eduardo, and that is a terrific save. Headed it down, but watch the goalkeeper here, on his toes. Good parry, Stephen Bywater. Free header. 8 yards out. Poor defending. Good goalkeeping. Sandros. There's Diaby. Adebayor turning into a wide position. Diaby gives it back. Beyond Teal, Leacock's clearance, shuffle to Eduardo. He was pulled back by Oakley, it's a penalty. As he shaped to shoot, he was dragged back by the Derby captain. It'll be Emmanuel Adebayor against Stephen Bywater. And he has 2 again this week. Bywater got a fingertip to it, but it wasn't enough. Oh, so close, the goalkeeper. Will Arsenal miss Henry? Adebayor has 5 goals from 6 games this season. And once again, Arsenal have 3 goals in a match. Diaby to Fabregas. Flamini. Fabregas again, very nearly into Adebayor. And he's quickest to react once more. And Toure! How far did he run to get there? Fabregas, little look, Toure in there. Arsenal have 3, they might have had 6. I have the greatest respect for Fleet Street's photographers. They anticipate most things. Where will the action be at the second half? Well, that's behind Stephen Bywater's goal. And, oh, that's behind Almunia's goal. Diaby. Not a bad effort, that. Griffin got forward. He may well have just taken a little nick as he went through to Almunia. He's got all his body behind it. Sound goalkeeping. Kyle Harbour. Not by Flamini, this is Fabregas. And Toure breaking forward again in support of his forwards. Eduardo. Toure wants it back, and Derby forgot to trail him. Eduardo. Fabregas. Lovely effort. He's done it again. He has scored in a 6th game running for Arsenal. The first Gunners player to do that since Thierry Henry. Thierry who? Derby failed to clear it away in the first place, arriving in space. Goalkeeper got a hand to it. There's no stopping Fabregas at the moment, though. 7 goals this season for the little midfield maestro. Super technique behind the shot, too much power. Top, and they believe they're staying there. The side started the season with such spirit, and he is such a courageous and determined man. But how much damage is being caused by successive away drubbings? Nielsen. To Adebayor, great chest trap. Adebayor on a hat-trick and gets it, and that was a very special goal. Magnificent. It was all about the first touch. Hit high, look at the jump. Magnificent. Then the composure and a low bent finish. A hat-trick for Emmanuel Adebayor. Magnificent. Majestic. Then picked himself up. Little shimmy, side foot finish. Adebayor has 3, Arsenal have 5. Derby have conceded 9 goals in 2 games in North London this season. Then Nielsen, Derby have lost it again. Adebayor, he's in again. Adebayor, good challenge on him by Mears. Good recovery.
Everybody expected us to beat Derby, and we responded in a great way, and I'm very happy of that. The team has shown a lot of respect for the quality of the game, and they've done extremely well.
Yeah, of course, I'm very happy to score my first hat-trick in the Premiership, so I'm very happy, I'm very pleased about myself. But the most important thing, like I told you, is the 3 points. We have taken it, and now today's game is behind us. We are going to focus on our job. At the moment, we're just playing good football, enjoying ourselves on the pitch. That's the most important thing.
I don't think anyone expected us to pick up anything at Arsenal or Liverpool or any of these other teams. We know that ourselves, there's a gap that we've got to try and fill between ourselves and the ones above us. You know that we've then got to try and progress as a club, and only by progression can we eventually come to these places and start to believe and start to play in a manner in which can cause the home side a lot of problems.
Well, whichever team you follow or whatever goggles you look through, when Arsenal are on song, they're a joy to watch.
Oh, they were majestic. It was a masterclass of pass and move. When they're playing like that, there's no better team in the country to watch it. For entertainment, it was definitely a 10. They were that good.
It's too early really to pick players of the season. We're only in September, but I mean, Fabregas was once again fabulous.
Well, he's a magnificent player, and when you talk about pass and move, vision awareness, the appreciation and use of time and space, there's nobody better. And on today's performance, I mean, this is a goal, and you can argue it's bad defending, but he just picks up, looks up, inch-perfect pass into Adebayor, and they've got a brilliant relationship. Those two, you can find them at ease, and it's in the back of the net. This one here, it's like, wonderful back heel, then move on. Again, you could argue about the defending here because he gets past Pearson at ease, but again, when he plays it, he's on the go, moves, great ball into the box, difficult to defend against, magnificent play. This is all about, again, the appreciation of where Walcott's going to run, great pass into feet. It's just magnificent, and it was time after time after time. He gets himself in a decent position here defensively, intercepts it, and then plays it into feet, gets it back, and I liken this to the way Platini used to play. where he just sort of caresses it, and it's inch perfect, it's precision. Now watch this, a quick look around, we're circling, he looks around once, looks around twice, quick look up, and this is just about the pass of the season. It's that good, it's like unbelievably good.
Control wasn't bad either.
And then his goal, I mean, you could again argue that the keeper could do better, but the first touch is great, and the hit is great as well. And he is a gem of a player because he works hard for the team, obviously very popular, and just a wonderful asset to Arsenal.
A real talent. As for Derby, you'd probably describe them as, at the moment, as Mamma Mia. They need to start learning them fast.
You have to explain that.
I won't.
We know.
They need to start learning them fast.
Well, I think when you come into the Premiership, you've got to adapt and learn, and especially in the first 5 or 10 minutes, you've got to know your players, and they've been losing early goals. There's been a debate raging on since I played about when the opposition's coming towards you, should you bring them inside where you're relatively strong, or take them down the outside where you might, or that person might be weak. Now, in the case of Diaby early on, we can see from these clips here that he's all right foot. A terrific player and a wonderful hit for the goal, but if you watch him in the match, I think he had 97 touches that I counted, and only one was his left foot. Pick him up here, right foot again, and right foot again. This time, it's into his feet, plays it back, right foot again, right foot again, right foot again. So you understand what I'm talking about. So when it comes to him for the first goal, you've got to play him down there onto his left-hand side. You must not bring him inside and let him hit it, because he will hit it. How many touches do you have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touches. It is a magnificent hit. But do they learn the lesson? No. 2 minutes later, 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches in his right foot. And they paid the penalty. Obviously, the first goal is crucial. And if they don't learn from the mistakes, then there's nothing there for them.
I can understand why neither of you tips Arsenal for the league.
Still early. I can't believe I haven't mentioned Adebayor, by the way. I think he has benefited more than most of Thierry Henry leaving. He's been fantastic this season up to now, he really has.
Yeah, terrific. Brilliant. Before we leave you, let's take a look at the Barclays Premier League table. Arsenal have stretched their lead at the top to 3 points, with Manchester City and Liverpool both drawing. Most of the other teams in the top half are in action on Sunday, including Manchester United and Chelsea, who meet at Old Trafford. Bolton will be looking to haul themselves off the bottom when they play Tottenham, who also appear in the bottom 3. Derby is sandwiched between them, following their heavy defeat at Arsenal. Well, we'll find out very soon whether there's life after Jose at Chelsea, but on the other side of London, there's definitely life after Thierry. Goodbye.
Had a good chance to give Newcastle the lead. Lucas Fabianski with a good save. Emmanuel Boué was playing his first game for a month, and he went close to putting Arsenal in front. Philippe Senderos had a header saved off the line midway through the first half. Theo Walcott was one of only 3 players to retain their place from the side that beat Derby at the weekend. He was unfortunate not to have scored. It was all Arsenal, and they nearly scored with the best move of the match, Eduardo, just shooting wide. The breakthrough came 7 minutes from time when Armand Traoré's cross was headed home by Nicolas Bentner, his first goal of the season. Well, Newcastle had a glorious chance to equalise almost immediately. Martins rounded Fabianski, but Senderos made an heroic last-ditch clearance to keep it out. And Arsenal's youngsters finished the match in style with a stunning goal from Brazilian Denilson to leave the final score at 2-0.
Yes, we had a great performance and against a good Newcastle side, and I felt that we played 90 minutes at a top pace. Good combination, were as well intelligent, and in the end we scored 2 great goals.
I mean, how good can this young team become?
Well, you don't fix yourself any limitation. It just depends on the attitude, how hungry we are, and how much work we are ready to put in. And I must say at the moment I'm pleased with that.
How much does it say for the players? I mean, Newcastle put out pretty much full strength team, and you've come out easy winners in the end.
Because we have a group of 20 players, 22 players, but of top level quality, very, very young, but they've shown as well that they are very mature and that they can cope with that kind of test.
By the way, there's been a goal in one of them in League One. Huddersfield have taken the lead against Luton. Luton, of course, got Everton in the Carling Cup, but not faring so well away from home in League One. They've lost all 3 of their away league games. They're behind again today, and it's Luke Beckett who's got the goal. It's only his 3rd goal. It's a bit of a relief as well for Andy Ritchie because they've been in dreadful form recently, lost their last 4 games on the bounce and conceded a dozen goals in doing so. Now, they're top of the table. Pundits and opposition fans even drool over their style of football. Even their kids are a match with some of the best in the Premier League. The manager's just signed a new long-term contract. Fans are flocking to see them play and paying handsomely for the privilege. According to a survey this week, they even serve the best food of any football club in Europe. They also have one of the best young players in the world. Dickie Davis reports.
Over 12 months, Arsenal's turnover was up by almost 50% to a mouth-watering £200 million.
In the Emirates' first season, almost 2 million people passed through the turnstiles,
which helped generate over £3 million every match day last season.
They sold a cool 1 million of these, and the strange-looking guy on the left would have to hang around even longer for a season ticket these days, because the waiting list has gone up from 31,000 people to 42,000 people. The day after their financial results were released, their youngsters blew away the strongest side Newcastle could field, and not so much the second string was blue ribboned. There's one guy in the first team right now who puts a lot by the Carling Cup. Don't forget he became the club's youngest ever scorer 4 years ago in the same competition.
Yes, for me it was a very important competition because it's where I started, and that was the time where I could show the boss that I was good enough to play for Arsenal.
These days, it's easy to see what he can do.
Another stunning goal to add to the burgeoning Cesc Fabregas collection.
All the goals are going in, all the shots I'm having are going in, and last season they didn't. I feel I'm having less opportunities than last year, but this year I'm being more lucky in front of goal.
But last year often the team was accused of looking for a final pass rather than shooting. Do you think has that changed this season?
A little bit, yeah. It's true that we are scoring more from the edge of the box and from outside the area, but as well, when we have the opportunity to play, you can see the goal against Sevilla, the 3rd goal, and I don't know, we can say more against Sparta Prague as well. Whenever we can play, we play, but it's true that we are having more shots from the edge of the box and the goals are going in.
What's it like for you when so many people are heaping praise on you and saying how well you're playing? How do you deal with it, or how do you keep your feet on the ground?
Just being normal. I don't see why you have to change for 3 games that you play well. In football, you are very quickly at the top and you are very quickly down. So I think you have to keep always your head down, cool, and just keep working, keep learning, because you have to think you are very, very young. A lot of experience have to come in still, so I don't know, I just think you have to be like as you are.
So that's about Thierry Henry and his departure. Do you think the squad and the team maybe took on a more collective responsibility, that we can't just rely on a guy to score the goals, we all have to chip in?
No, I think Thierry has been amazing for us. As I've been saying those days, probably the greatest player, best player of all history of Arsenal, and what can you say? Of course you miss a guy like Thierry, but now he's gone. You know, all he can do is be in his sofa and try to wave or to say, come on, you know, because he wants us to win, but he cannot help us in the pitch, and of course we have to find another solutions, and I think we are doing well. You know, Bayor is growing up every day, every game. Van Persie, you know, is a top-class striker. Bender and Eduardo are coming as well, doing very, very well. So, of course, we don't have Thierry, but we still have a lot of potential.
Because last week, I think after the game, you were quoted as saying that you felt a bit intimidated by him. Was that right, or was that not right?
No, that was not right, because the question from the journalist was, did Henry intimidate you? So he made the question, and I said, no, you know, I said what we are trying to do is now play a bit more as a team, because we don't have the capacity to play for Thierry in the aspect that he can do something special in a moment, you know, like that, in a second. But, you know, he changed the question, you know how journalists are, you know, and sometimes, but from these things you always learn, and now I know who can I speak to and who cannot I speak to.
Tell us about your relationship with Adebayor. I mean, you've set him up a few times. I mean, I think last week you were in with a ball from about 60 yards. You two seem to know where each other are.
Yeah, the same. I think, you know, Adebayor has a lot of similarities to Thierry, and when I have the ball, our game is always to look forward, and even if we are 5-0 up, we always want to attack and to create chances and score goals. And you know, Adebayor, he's so quick, he's big. I remember the boss was saying he's like a lion, you know. But it's true. Whenever you find him or you see he's like this in the side position, ready to run in behind defenders. For a midfielder, this is the best thing it can happen, because you just make a chip. And because he's so quick, he's so powerful, it looks like you made a great ball, but you just chipped it behind the defender, and the rest is he does the rest, and very, very well.
Did you think at the start of the season we need to start well, because you hadn't started well the last couple of seasons?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very important to start well the season. The last 2 years, I think in the 7th round or game we were maybe 6 points behind Man United or Chelsea, and that's too much, you know, for an Arsenal team. This is too much, and when you don't start well after at the beginning, even if you have a great run, you are too far away and you cannot catch them back.
You've got West Ham this weekend, a team that beat you twice last season. They've got a pretty good record against you guys.
I don't know, you just told me, I didn't realize that. I don't remember about if they beat us twice or how many years ago. This is a different game. Even if we played yesterday and they beat us 10-0, today would be a different game, and we would have the same opportunities as them to win the game. We are playing good football, but as I always say, this is the beginning. If we think now we have won something, we are wrong. We don't think about titles at the moment. We are enjoying our football, it's true. We are growing up, we are getting much more experience. The young players are growing up as well, so I think it's great to see Arsenal play, but if we don't win at the end, it would be, you know, a bit of a shame, because I think if we keep fighting until the end, we can win something, because the spirit and the togetherness is there.
Remember when we teased him about being compared to one great?
Cesc Fabregas will be telling us why he's the new Patrick Vieira, and why...
Excuse me, I'm not the new Patrick Vieira, I'm just Cesc Fabregas. Patrick Vieira is gone, he's the best. I'm just Cesc Fabregas who plays for Arsenal now.
Make your mind up. So Cesc Fabregas will be telling us why he's not the new Patrick Vieira.
Well, now the little Spaniard has been compared by his manager to the legendary Michel Platini. And to think he's still only 20 years old.
Time being, Charlie, obviously an insight into Cesc Fabregas there. Arsene Wenger's been doing plenty of talking this week as well, and he has said, following the Newcastle win, he said, we have got wave after wave of players coming through. Why is it happening in Arsenal and nowhere else?
Well, he's built this over a period of time, Jeff. It's not just because this season has come to prominence with the prospects of, as you touched on, Arsene Wenger re-signing. He stayed, Henry goes, but all the potential has been growing at Arsenal now for 2 years. I thought last season that it was probably ready to come forward. I did think this season it would improve, and so far so good. But I don't know. There's a lot of clubs that have the potential, but do they honestly believe in it? I mean, when we have Sir Alex Ferguson sitting looking at his academy and saying it don't work last season, that's a dangerous sign. And I've listened to Howard Wilkinson and all them talking about these academies and specialist training facilities. But Wenger's obviously got a way of doing things within his youth policy and into reserves and finding players. And people can complain that they're not British, but he's finding real talent. Maybe Arsene is just prepared at the type of club that he's at, that he can get away with that situation. He's not under pressure for his job because he knows how to find a gem. It's an ability. I mean, I've said before, Wenger is a genius. He's brought qualities that we couldn't imagine to this league. He's still never won the Champions League, and yet still has this tag of greatness about him. And that's why. It's because of the players and the young players he can find. And it's how he produces them, Jeff. It's how he teaches them to play, prepare. And Fabregas makes it sound simple. He makes the game look simple. Oh, I just want Adebayor running behind. It's just a simple chip. That ain't simple. This is the top level of football we're talking about. And he's making progress with players to say, first thing in my mind is a forward pass. Now, I mean, that's where you have to applaud the manager.
I think there's a bit more harmony between Arsene Wenger and his academy. You know, we've heard what's happened in Liverpool and Sir Alex, what he thinks of the academy system as a whole. I think there's a bit more togetherness, and I think Arsene takes a little bit more responsibility about his academy, probably more than what others do. And if he says they're coming through wave after wave, it's quite feasible.
Is this a blueprint for the future of English football? Then should other clubs be looking at it? Because Arsene said this week, he said, look, why can't we have English footballers who are as good as anyone in the world, and we must do something about it now, young English footballers?
Well, it is, and if he can get good English footballers at his club and coming through, he will give them a chance. But they have the way at academies, or before academies were there, everybody, what they did, they said, right, the junior teams are going to play the same way as the first team, so that when they all come through the system, they all know and can play in exactly the same way as what the manager would want at the top. If academies do it in a different way, maybe that's why it's not working. But certainly at Arsenal, you see the players that come through this reserve team culture, and they come straight into the first team. They all know what's expected of them, so they're all ready to pass a ball in the right way. They're all able to receive a ball in the right way, and there's movement all over the pitch. So they're already coming from the reserves or the junior teams, and they slot straight in, and it just looks as though
look at Fabregas, they've nicked him off for Barcelona basically. They must be looking at the situation now, Barcelona, going, how did we ever let him go? I mean, but he's spotted that, he's taken advantage, been able to get him over, nurtured him, and he's become an absolutely wonderful footballer.
Didn't let him go. What he did is it's a clause at age time,
right. It's a problem,
and he managed to get it. He's just nicked another one in the summer there again, but he finds him. I think there's sometimes a belief, I think, in Britain that when Wenger does this and doesn't get any prizes, then they say, well, you know, that proves nothing. He ain't got any trophies. Ajax had it for years, Jeff, and then suddenly Bosman arrived and Ajax crumbled because they still have the players and the production line, but after that, what started happening, they started getting the Africans and all those type of players in, because these fellas are, you know, instantly, they're athletes, they're quicker than most, and suddenly you're working on their technique. And I think Wenger's seen that a long time ago and gradually worked at it. But then, even times that we've been on this show, we would say to ourselves, oh, what do Arsenal miss? Or maybe it's a bit of the British backbone, and Chelsea have got Lampard and Terry, and, you know, there's a lot of that debate always goes on, and quite rightly so, but with Wenger, his philosophy, if it doesn't win prizes, he's not going to change. And it's brilliant for the game.
In fairness as well, Charlie, if you look at their reserve team squad, more than half of the kids there are English. So, you know, the future is going to have, one would assume, more English players, more young English players.
Yeah, about 3 years ago we were doing a midweek, and I think they played Wolves when we were doing it in one midweek show. And there was about 5 or 6 English players in that. There was a kid called, I think it was Ryan Smith, and he was going to be the next kind of Bentley, if you like. He was the boy that they were all talking about. Hoyt was coming through. There was a good batch of them, but gradually he lets them out on loan. That's another thing that he does. He's only going to put them in loan at a good level to say, are you good enough to play at that level? Because if you ain't, then you can't come back here and get a game because I've got the next line that's coming in. And it's harsh reality for some of these kids, but it doesn't matter what your passport is. If you're good enough and you've got a good ear to listen to a top coach like this, you've got a chance.
I think there's a lot of what goes on at academies and how do you do things and the passing structure, keep ball structure. Everybody says we've got to keep the ball. We don't keep the ball well enough in this country as some of the foreign teams do. So we keep it. But it's different with Arsenal. They keep the ball, but they progress with it. The ball's going forward more often than not. Other teams think keeping the ball is passing it around the back four and it goes into a midfield player and then comes back. You look at Arsenal, it's completely different. And then you see the players who come in and they've all been told all the time from the bench, pass the ball forward, pass the ball forward. And that is why they're different than most other teams.
Trouble is, Matt, you know, I mean, how can we expect in this country that we're going to have sides willing to develop young players when everybody seems to be in the business of wanting instant success?
Yeah, that's the problem. And one of the reasons at Arsenal, I think that the reason that they've succeeded now is because they've stuck with their manager for such a long time. You know, he's been there for over 10 years now, and that continuity, he can then get the club in order right from the very bottom level all the way up to the top, and I think that's bearing fruition now. And I think whilst chairman too easily firing their managers, you're never going to get that continuity coming through your football clubs. It's simple.
To Fergie when he brought his batch through, you know. So it's proved it's been there before, Jeff. I just don't know why other people don't grab it. They just don't see the concept working for them for some reason.
Let's take a look at some of the young players, shall we, who've impressed over the last week or so. We're going to look back first of all to last Saturday, Charlie. I mean,
yes, please.
You know, Adebayor. I mean, people had doubts about him when he first arrived, and he came with a bit of a reputation of being temperamental as well.
Well, they said the same about Vieira when he came. You know, who is he? Is he up to it physically? Adebayor's been queried. I fancy he could bag a right few. He's only 2 league goals behind what his total was for the whole of last season. And, you know, I know it's early stages, Jeff. There's no prizes for the performance and the excellence that we're seeing now. But I think Diaby is mature. This is the other thing with Wenger. He's given them time. They're in for 3 games, they're out. Flamini nearly left. Suddenly he's in the team more or less every week. And he can chop and change around. Silva, who looked as if he was going to be the captain, they're playing without Eboy. Gallas, the captain. They're playing without these players. You don't even know they're missing. You know, I think if there's a fault, the question mark is the goalkeeper. Probably Senderos. That's the only 2 little queries that Arsenal have at the moment. And I know some of the boys, I think it was Mercer who was saying midweek, I don't think Arsenal's group is strong enough. And I know some of the lads thought that at the start of the season. But you can see this has been nurtured for a couple of seasons now. And physically and mentally they're tougher because they stretch the game. And what they really do to you is that you say, we'll get in your face and we're going to bully you now. They say, we'll pass it forward, it'll stretch the game. If you want to play this way, then come and play. Because this is how we're going to do it. So he's got more variety in his play. It's very, very clever coaching.
And Paul, I mean, what about the Arsenal under-21s against Newcastle on Chelsea? I mean, we could mention, you know, virtually any player in that side, but if we just look at the 2 goals, I mean, you know, Denilson and Bentner, who, frankly, are not getting close to a first-team start at the moment.
No, I mean, it's
score fabulous goals.
Yeah, the header from Bentner was unbelievable. It was a great cross and a great head in the end. And like Charlie's been saying and Matt's been saying, the continuity at the club and the way that the players are brought through, the movement, the imagination. Arsenal have better imagination than any other team in the Premier League. And I think this is the Denilson strike, and that's just unbelievable. The technique, you know, he's just relaxed, hit through it, and it's a great strike. And Bentner's header was a fantastic goal as well. And these players have got to keep doing that when they get a chance, so they can give themselves half a chance of even getting in the Arsenal first-team squad.
The Arsenal chairman Peter Hillwood said this week, we asked him what he would do if we gave him £100 million to spend, and he said he would give it straight back. Sort of manager every chairman would love to have.